Morning. Frustrating day yesterday, weren't it? A lot of anger out there. I weren't really that angry. I was quite calm, just a bit frustrated. Well, have a look. So this with the team, and before the game kicked off, the team was announced, and people were like, "Oh, Hutchinson's in, but so's Dunkley. Surely we're not going to a back three and trying to match these up. We're not that worried about them, are we?" So a few people thought we might be going 3 at back, 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 to match them. But as it was, it shaped up in this 4-2-3-1. Hutchinson and Adena in, with Bannon probably slightly advanced to that, and Berahino in. Now, I said in the preview before the game we'd been playing this 4-3-3, and that I did think that now Berahino was here, we would see that morph into a 4-2-3-1, which it did. I was just slightly surprised though that it was Berahino in the right hand side slot and not directly up there, sort of just playing off and satelliting round Gregory. Hutchinson into midfield, I could understand that change from Darren Moore because such a milky display last week at Plymouth. I don't really think Wingo Byers did enough to keep hold of the shirt. I could understand the thinking of getting someone in midfield who's going to win the ball, and give it simply. So an understandable change, I thought. Personally, I don't like disrupting the back four, so I'd have kept Hutchinson at centre half, and I would have probably brought in Patterson into midfield. I think he just gives you that bit of aerial competition. He can get a foot in, and of course he brings a bit of a goal threat. And I do actually think midfield is Patterson's best position, but that's probably a debate for another day. So 4-2-3-1 as we thought it might be, and it was actually a really bright start. A positive start from Wednesday. I really did. I thought we'd come out really quick. There was a high tempo to what we were doing. Compared to last week against Plymouth, there was really good movement. Shadipo came in on the left hand side, Berahino on the right, and the movement was really good. It was really sharp. They were attacking space, and we were finding them in space. Bannon, I know people's having a bit of a pop of him, but in the first half I thought he was involved in the good stuff we were doing, slipping them little balls in. And as I said, the movement from the front three almost, if you like, I thought it was really good. Shadipo was on the left, but he was popping up everywhere. He went isolated out there, he went shackled to corner flag, And if you look at the penalty, which we'll come back to later, that's him 35 yards across the pitch, making a really good curved run in behind, and Bannon finds him with that nice little slip ball. So I thought the movement from the front players was really good today. I thought it was really good actually across the board. I thought Palmer were getting on really well, Hunt was getting on really well. We scored early, and I said before the game I thought we'd win 3-0. That was no disrespect to Shrewsbury Town, that's not little Shrewsbury or anything like that. That was going on the form table. Here's a team who had not scored a goal for 7 hours at league football this season. A team that had not won a point away from home, a team that had not scored a goal away from home. And Wednesday's home form, it's not scintillating, not sparkling, but it's not bad. It's decent home form, and so I thought we could win 2 or 3-0. And that first half, I thought I was actually going to get it. And let's be honest, it wouldn't have flattered us to go in 3-0 up at the break, or even 4-0. Berahino could have had a hat-trick on another day. He scores a terrific header from the corner, he has another one flashes just past the post 6-7 minutes later. Gregory has a half chance, and of course we get the penalty, which is in many ways the turning point of the game, but still we had enough there. So I was talking before, now I said I wanted to see a level of performance, and I even said I'd take a 1-1 draw as long as I'd seen a level of performance and what we were trying to achieve, and a level that we could take on to Ipswich and Wigan and going on. As it was, we couldn't even take it into the second half, which is where the frustration comes in. And I am frustrated, I'm not really angry about it, because if it had been another Plymouth, I'd have been angry. But the first half showed that there are signs there of what we're trying to do. People are saying there's no plan A and no plan B, and admittedly in the second half we lost our way. But in the first half I think there was a very definite plan A. and it was a plan that could have got us 2 or 3 goals to the good. So I'm not particularly angry about this result. The second half performance was very frustrating because of how well we started. I've been looking online. Darren Moore's taking some real hammer about the second half performance, but I think this is something more to do with the player mentality, because as a manager your team goes out and plays like they did in the first half, and I thought it was a very good first half performance. I thought it was as good as we've played all season. If you're getting the players in at half time, even though we've conceded a crap goal, you get them players in at half time, you're not saying, oh, they've scored, right, we better drop off, oh, they've scored, we better slow things down a bit. You're not saying that as a manager, and anyone who thinks that that's the case is a lunatic. All he's going to be saying at half time is, great start lads, keep it going, okay, crap goal, but just keep going. We could have been 2 or 3 nil up, keep going second half, we'll do it again, we'll keep creating them chances. He's not saying, oh sit off lads, full backs, don't push on as much. He's not saying that at half time. Of course he is. I mean, he's taking some hammer for it, but I don't, that is a mentality that Wednesday's had, a problem that Wednesday's had for a long time. Now you can say, and rightly, 13 players left in the summer, these are new players, so where's that mentality? But maybe it's in the few players that are left, maybe it's that deeply ingrained in there. But I think we've also got to give credit to Shrewsbury, because I thought they were a lot more dogged after the break. I thought first half they've come out, Wednesday's come out all guns blazing, and I think we probably caught them on up a little bit, to be perfectly honest with you. I think we caught them a bit shell shocked, and after the break you've got to give credit to the opposition. They were a bit more dogged, resolute when they were cutting the passing angles out, they were working better in tandem in little tools. One's going at man, one's taking the angle out, so I thought they deserved a bit of credit for that. But Wednesday again, we start doing the sideways, it becomes at a pedestrian pace, and it's very frustrating to watch. Like I said, I'm not angry because the first half was very good, and if we can do that over 90 minutes, if we'd done that over 90 minutes, even if we'd still drawn and got 1 apiece, I would have been happy. I would have, honestly, because if we'd have stretched that performance over 90 minutes, you're moving in the right direction. You might not have got all 3 points, but you can see what's happening. For 45 minutes we did it, and that's why it's frustrating. But you can't, the manager's had nothing to do with that at half time. There's no way in the world he said, yeah, start sitting off lads. There's no way in the world. That's up here, and it becomes a bit like it's like bees, it's like a hive mind, one starts getting a yard deeper, his mate starts getting a yard deeper, one person stops running and making advancements up the pitch, his mate stops doing the same thing, and it spreads around the team, and I think we were caught a little bit doing that. But even at the end of the game, Gregory has that little sort of back header, there were still 1 or 2 chances, and of course even in the second half, as poor as it is compared to the first half, the comparison rate was chalk and cheese. But even then, there's the goal, the disallowed goal, which is never a disallowed goal. Again, that's really good movement, because he's made his run, his initial run, he's had a look, he's seen his off, and he's made a big song and dance about getting onside. It's almost as if he's doing it to tell Liner, oh look, I'm getting back on, and he's never offside there. And at 2-1, I don't think they come back again for the second time, I really don't. So, a frustrating day, but not this anger-inducing one that I'm seeing all around. But it was a bad second half, but like I said, I think you've got to give Shrewsbury some credit for that. In fact, they could have probably nicked it right at the end, but that kid advances it left hand side and gets that shot across goal to the far post. So that first half, we've just got to take that on, because we've faced a stern test now at Ipswich. I know they've not had the best start, but they've had a result the other day, so it's we've got to take that on. There were a lot of positives in this game though. The first half. I thought Palmer and Hunt were getting on really well. Hunt's delivery, hit and miss. I don't think he's the player he was, certainly, but there's still enough quality in there that he should be a creative force for us down that side when he's on the overlap. Palmer had a really good first half, dried up in the second. Perhaps I think maybe he could have done a little bit better with a goal. The goal, it's another poor goal. That's the one thing about the first half. I mean, I like Peacock Farrell. I like him as a player. I like his attitude. He seems to have a really positive attitude in goal. Seems to enjoy what he's doing. But I think he'll be disappointed there. I've watched it a few times. I've seen some people say, "Oh, the lad gets in front of him," but I think he'll be disappointed with that. And that's sort of 2 in 2. Of course, the bonus is it's not going to affect him too much in the week at training because Kieran Westwood's not here, so at least he didn't have to have the cop singing Westwood's name when he let the ball in the net. So at least he's not going to put up with that psychological barrage and downing on him. So, but yeah, overall, the way the second half went, I'm probably happy with a point. Which probably says it all about how far we slipped off after the break. So the key talking point is the penalty again. There's the 2 or 3 chances. Berahino could have had an hat-trick on another day. I was really impressed with him. Bannon, God, it is frustrating with the set pieces because he is our best footballer. Is best footballer the same as best player though? This is a debate I've had with my mates before in the past. Is the best footballer necessarily your best player? Your most effective player? I could never have a go at Barry Bannon because he cares. You can see he cares because he's always demanding the ball. Sometimes I think people need to say, no, it's alright, I've got this one, don't worry about it. And sometimes with the free kicks and the penalties, again, you can't argue with his passion and his desire to do well, to take responsibility. But sometimes I think it has to be taken out of a player's hands. And okay, you're a brilliant player. We put most things through you in open play, but set pieces actually we're going to let Wingy have a go at it. You know what I mean? Oh, actually, Dennis says he's got a really hard shot. We'll just have a look at that and maybe he wants to take a couple of free kicks. Oh, Corbyn got some really good swerve on his crosses in open play. Let's see if he can do it with a dead ball from a corner. So, little things to look at. I think sometimes there's generous with the wanting to do well and take responsibility, that sometimes they can take on too much. And I think that is a manager's area where he has to come in and say, yep, no, brilliant, everything's great attitude, can't fault you, but we're just going to have a look at this and all that. Because it is a team game, isn't it? It's not golf. You're not just out there, I'll do it, I'll take this shot, I'll select what club. It's a team game, isn't it? So, frustrating. I do wonder if Bannon is left-handed or right-handed, because I have got a theory about penalty takers. And it's left-footed penalty takers who are right-handed. Left foot, left hand, okay. Right foot, right hand, okay. But I just think when you get a left foot who's right-handed, I haven't written a thesis on it at all. It's just a theory I've had for about 10 years. I mean, I can never watch a penalty shootout in the Euros or a World Cup without, when I see a left footer coming up, I'm just going, I wonder if he's right-handed. And then when they skank it, I'm like, yeah, I can just see him taking autographs with his right hand. I'm distracting myself again. I'm quite calm there, weren't I? Not much to talk about last 20 minutes because it just descended like it does. But that first half, good. Doing that for 90 minutes, happy. It's really simple, isn't it? The substitutions, I'll just talk about that though. The substitutions, I've seen a few things this morning even. And don't get me wrong, I won't play Cambarian at a wide position. I won't do that. I think where the frustration sneaks in is because the players that came off were probably our most effective players on the day in terms of our attacking intent. But equally, most come out and explain that. Dennis, Berahino, they're carrying little strains, knocks. We don't want to repeat that situation like with Luongo and Lee, as I said. So. But maybe you can mix things up a bit more, that maybe you can change the formation, we could just say, you know what, let's get two up front for the last 10 minutes. But he seems quite stubborn in that regard, and I think we're going to have to get used to that because most managers are stubborn these days. There's very few that, oh yeah, I'm going to change my entire philosophy because I thought we needed to try and get something against Shrewsbury. Managers don't do that, do they? They're all stubborn all the way through. They've got their ideals, and over a period of time, that stubbornness can reap rewards, can't it? Ferguson was stubborn, Managerial was stubborn, Guardiola's stubborn, very stubborn. This is the way I'm doing it. I think we're going to have to get used to that, and if the players can take it on board and play like they did first half, I've got no problem with playing out from the back as long as it's done zippy with pace, and as long as it's played out from the back and we pick the right pass. I don't care if it's 5-yard pass or a 40-yard pass, as long as it's the right pass. No problem playing football out from the back, but it's when it gets pedestrianised it becomes a problem. It's probably frustrating me more this morning than it were last night. But then I spent most of yesterday morning stuck behind a flooded washing machine, piss wet through, so, you know, after that, the first half of Wednesday match cheered me up a bit. Maybe it's that. Yeah, point. But we're just going to have to get used to it. This is how he plays. This is how he wants us to play. Oh, tell you what else happened this week. Team photo. Have you seen that team photo? I can't recognise who anyone is. I know we've had 14 new signings, but that's not the reason I can't recognise them because it's taken from so far away. I'm like, need binoculars. What was that? Why is it taken from so far away? Because there's that many people on it. Who are all these blokes on end? He's the analyst. He analyses what temperature the kettle is reaching before it's clicking off. Do you know what I mean? There's a job for everything in a football club now. When you're a kid, I want a Wednesday poster for my wall. Great. Who do you want to make sure on it? David Hurst, John Sheridan, Carl Palmer. Do you want Doddy Sweet Canteen on it? Not really. Just want David Hurst on it, John Sheridan. Not really bothered. Doddy Sweet Canteen. Maybe it's that modern thing. We're all part of the team now. Yeah. Not for me, but there we go. I recognise Thompson, but that's about it. Few people panicking now because the team photo's out. Then magnifying glass, because you need one. Luongo's not there. Oh my God, he's going to Perth. Well, he's actually away at the minute, seeing a specialist, so no need to panic on that score. Apparently he's away seeing somebody. He'll be back within the next sort of 10 days, but he's seen a specialist about his injury and doing some rehab work with him, so that's that. Kieran Brennan, young defender midfield player, he's been linked with Chesterfield on loan. They've apparently been in touch with him about taking him there for a month with an option to extend it. A young keeper, Luke Jackson, he's gone out on loan this week to Geesley, that's another name in it. He's gone there to get some game time. Young Josh, I want to say this right, Duodo, he's been linked with a loan move to Dagenham and Redbridge. Aldershot apparently also sniffing, so by the end of this month we could have 8 young players out on loan getting league football, and that's going to be a huge positive thing moving forward. And that's what I want to focus on a Sunday, the positive things. So my builds largely have to stop talking about games. Right, chin up. I'll see you for Ipswich preview.